Hey Flight Simmers, welcome back to a new video, this time around with an overview of the Q&A video from the monthly Q&A video that Microsoft and Asobo provide us. I will go over all the major or important talking points of the Q&A for those of you that don't have time to watch the hour-long video. Firstly, they mentioned that hopefully update number 5 might go out this week. The autopilot issues have been solved. So update 5 is also the first wave of VR to go out. Twitchiness of some aircraft should be improved with this update. There's some autopilot improvements. Press any key to continue page has been removed. Improvements to night lighting. Improvements to the 787 and A320 landing behavior when at approach speeds. Water reflections has been improved and much more. Hopefully we get the patch note in tomorrow's development update for October 29th. Along with that, there was a server-side fix for LiQWYD. Servers were caching weather data and specifically METAR data, which was providing all data into the live weather in the flight sim, and this should be now corrected. Hopefully it's either functioning now or within the next 2 days, or whenever we receive update number 5. Next talking point was about update number 6, which should be around mid-November or early November. It's a smaller update that will bring support for the upcoming Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant. It also will bring the VR Wave 2 performance improvements, mainly for the CPU, and will bottleneck less your graphics card, specifically or especially if you have a high-end GPU. Sebastian, the co-founder and CEO of Asobo, mentions that they have an average, or they've seen an average of 6 to 10 FPS improvement with these performance improvements for update number 6. So it's quite significant. I'm looking forward to that, as I'm sure many of you are as well. Sebastian further mentioned that it improves multi-threading, and there is still room for improvement further down the road. After update 6, we are expecting update number 7, which should be available around the end of November. Update 7 will be a large update. It's a sim update, since it comes along with the second world update, which is the US. I know most of you were expecting the world update of the US probably in December or January, not as soon as late November. But what we can expect from this second world update is better mesh, or DEM, or also known as DEM for the US. So many areas are being at least 1 meter resolution, which is incredible. This world update, though, will also bring improved aerials or photo satellite imagery. So many regions of the US will be enhanced greatly, that's for sure. Lastly, some airports are coming with this particular update, which are the following: Atlanta International, Dallas Fort Worth, Friday Harbor, which is the infamous airport of FSX, and lastly the New York Stewart International Airport. Also, this world update will come along with 50 POIs, or known as points of interest, and there will be an Alaska bush trip with this world update as well. Moving on to the SDK, which was another talking point in the live Q&A, specifically the airplane SDK. It was mentioned that the SDK team is in daily contact with third-party developers to mutually help each other with the SDK in order to bring third-party developer aircraft, mainly as well airliners or steady level caliber aircraft, to the sim. As an example, the Aerosoft CRJ, which is making good progress. The Garmin 1000 and 3000 avionics was briefly mentioned as well, and there seems to be work being made on the specific avionics systems to make overall improvements, but of course this will take some time. Moving on to LiQWYD, as always being quite a hot topic for the sim. It was further talked about, and an explanation was given how LiQWYD works. And to my surprise, Sebastian from Asobo explained that LiQWYD uses Meteo Blue data and METAR airport data. So for example, he gave an example that winds at ground level at an airport, provides METAR data for that specific airport, and it's blended into the sim. So if you're, for example, at 31,000 feet above an airport, medial blue data for the winds aloft will be obviously provided since you're not located at ground level for that airport. While we're still on the live weather topic, the lightning issue in live weather was mentioned as well, and the team has not been able to reproduce this bug or issue, which is kind of surprising to me because I have lightning issues in my live weather quite often. I was surprised to hear when Sebastian from Asobo said he uses the sim 5 hours to 10 hours every day and has not found that bug or issue. But once again, they mentioned it is under investigation, and if the community is able to provide scenarios which helps them to find it or reproduce it, it would obviously help them a lot. Icing, as many of you know in the sim, is quite aggressive and needs improvement. The Asobo team mentioned that they were using a formula provided by one of their sources and mentioned that it was too aggressive. This is being worked on currently to improve icing depending on the clouds, the humidity factor, and obviously a better formula to represent a more realistic and progressive icing effect in the sim. Moving on to the next topic, which was the night lighting, which is coming in update 5. The improvements that have been made is the lighting for major roads, highways, cities, etc. will now be able to be seen from much higher up and farther away, and the terrain emitted texture is for much farther depiction. It was mentioned that there are a lot of areas around the world where there are a lot of false positives, meaning the terrain will emit light where it shouldn't, such as desert scenarios. This basically could be from data sources, and they have and are looking to improve this, especially better data sources. AI traffic was the next focus point of this Q&A session, and it was mentioned that Microsoft intends to improve the AI, specifically to improve the AI aircraft models, as well as accurate liveries, etc. This conversation then further went into when would liveries be implemented, and right now it seems it's not really in Microsoft's hands, that is, and they have been trying to get into contact with many companies, manufacturers, airlines as possible to acquire the necessary licensing in order to implement this into the sim so everything's perfectly legal. So unfortunately, it's just a matter of time. Lastly, before I finish off with this overview, the Microsoft team is providing an email for community developers like Flywire A320 mod, working title for the CJ4 and Garmin Avionics, etc. If you are one of these developers for those teams and happen to be watching this video and have not heard of this announcement, Microsoft providing an email contact, please get in contact with Microsoft through the following email contact. That is msfsim@microsoft.com. Once again, msfsim@microsoft.com. And I want to reiterate that I went over most major topics, but not everything. So if you want to make sure to not miss anything that was mentioned in the live Q&A session, make sure to watch it in the link I provided in the description down below. That's all for this overview video of October 28th Q&A session. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. As always, stay safe, happy flying, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.